oh man, I don't know what that was. We have a big show today. Giants star linebacker Bobby Okereke, one of my faves, who's also low-key been top 10 in tackles each of the last 2 years. Excited about that. Are you watching The Bear? Are you talking non-negotiables? Are you like PTSD because you worked at a restaurant at some point in your life watching The Bear, the biggest hit right now? We have actor Cory Hendricks, Chicago native. Is he a Bears fan? How's he feeling about Caleb? He, of course, plays the sommelier, the Somm, Gary Sweeps Woods on The Bear. Excited to have him on the program and to meet him. And we're just going to get some information. We're going to get smarter today. We're going to get the latest on Dak from RJ Ochoa of Blogging the Boys and Tua from ESPN's Marcel Louis-Jacques. We got training camp. We got Matthew Hamilton. Hamilton, when are you going to start doing some work around here? When is the next hammer time? Huh? It's been weeks. Weeks. It's been a month since the hammer time.
I mean, if you look at it as far as it was like 3 shows ago, though, as far as like shows we actually did.
Why is Richard saying it's a sore subject? What happened? Are we getting rid of hammer time? What's happening?
No, there's just there's some issues right now as far as getting footage and some things like that. We're trying to iron out. So, you know, I'm a little cranky about that, but we'll get it figured out.
Maybe Marcel Louis-Jacques can help us out. He's joining us from ESPN. I've never met him. I'm excited to talk to him all things Dolphins. We are big in Miami, okay? Miami doesn't love me. We love Miami. The fans of the Dolphins love the content that we put out because we are so pro Tua and all things going on. I went to the Netflix premiere of Receiver last night here in Los Angeles. I got to say, I'm in. I was away. We were on hiatus. I was in Europe when Quarterback came out. And I missed the during moment craze, right? The Kirk Cousins all of a sudden becoming like everybody's favorite person. We watched an episode. Our guy Debo is on this. Amon-Ra St. Brown, couldn't love him more. Is so endearing, so amazing. And then you get, your double dose with Debo and George Kittle as the receivers for the Niners. You get Justin Jefferson, who we love. Saw him last night, giggly as ever. I saw our friend Brandon Marshall last night. Peyton Manning was there. Brilliant stuff from Omaha. And 2 p.m., Jacqueline Dahl just crushing it, and Patrick Mahomes and everybody bringing all the things that we want. I cannot get enough. And seeing it on, a big screen, a small screen on your phone, whatever, you just want more. And the mic'd up moments, there's so much on-field footage, and I absolutely loved it. I feel like I'm missing a receiver. Oh, maybe our favorite guy from yesterday, Devontae Adams, who was on the red carpet, who's expecting a baby boy here in the next coming months, which he neglected to tell us. So he's not only going to be a girl dad, but he got that boy in the bag too.
That's incredible to hear. How was he after yesterday?
With his Charger stuff?
Yeah.
I thought, I'm always like anxious. I always want everybody to have a good time. So then if it's not even when somebody's cranky about something, which obviously had nothing to do with us or me, like it's like, oh, is that not fun? Was it fun for you to I was worried that I don't know, I had some like weird anxiety yesterday. He was going to be mad at me about it. Because like people, especially someone like him, like he doesn't like being out there in the, or maybe he does. I don't know. He never is. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But he was fine.
But he was, he wanted to talk about that. You can kind of tell. He didn't have to go there. He kind of went there on his own. We were just talking about the game and that incredible play they drew up for him. And,
I have it on good authority that the social media, like teams on the various 32 teams all have some chat that they're on, and it was an exciting day in the chat. Because it was directed towards, of course, the social media group with the Chargers, who I just can't wait to see how these clips fly. Of course, week 1 because it's their matchup. But he was fine with it. I think he would have said it again. I think he'll be asked about it more. And I think we were just lucky enough to be the first people that asked him about the Chargers, because heading into week 1, he would have been asked and unloaded then. On how he feels, which I love. And there's a lot of people saying, like, you're mad about a Pop-Tart, you're whatever. Like, I love it. I like the energy. Absolutely. I think he's in the letitrip.com in the parlance of our Bear times. And he's going to just let it rip. He's going to say what he thinks and what he feels. And there's a moment in, we saw the screener yesterday, it was episode 5. And there's a moment where the Raiders are playing the Jets. And he and Aaron Rodgers have this really endearing, genuine, like they had dinner together. And they're like, I needed to see. And I'm just like, man, I miss those two together. Like, I just miss those two. Like, what I would give to have those two playing on the same team again. So it was really, really fun. And thank you to Netflix for inviting me, and thanks to Omaha for always being so amazing. And Peyton Manning was wearing that dumb orange tie as always, and I told him it's celebrating up in Adams brand, not so much Tennessee and the Broncos and the like. Okay, we got a lot to talk about. Are you watching?
Thanks to you for extending the invite to me.
Yeah,
I
you're welcome. Well, you live in New York, so do you? What was I going to ask you? Are you watching The Bear?
I am. I haven't gotten through the full season yet. I'm 2 episodes in, but love that show. One of my favorite shows. So very excited for that.
I don't watch shows well documented.
Yeah.
I watch The Bear. I really enjoy it. I like how it depicts the city that I grew up in. I like the intensity. I like the idea of, I think if anybody who, just about teams, how they're built, all of that. Like, there's a lot of philosophy in it. There's a lot of relationship-y stuff in it. I really, really quite enjoy it. And I'm so excited to have Gary Woods on the program. Gary Woods from the show, of course, the actor, Cory Hendricks, joining us from Chicago. I think he's a West Side kid. Is he Green Line? Is he Blue Line? I don't know. We'll find out. But we are almost at training camp Hammer. So scram and go try to find the NFL footage so you can get back to work and do Hammer times. We are 6 days away from rookies reporting in Chicago. And I think seeing Caleb Williams take the field has me more excited than anything else going on this offseason. I'm excited about an awful lot of things. Watching Caleb up on the board last night on Hard Knocks during his combine interview with the Giants, it got everyone even more fired up. It's the first time we really got an insight to how his football mind works, and you saw sort of his smarts, the intelligence, the IQ, his confidence on full display. And hearing Dable sort of comparing the play Caleb drew up to what he used to run with Brett Favre has got to give you some goosebumps if you're a Bears fan. It's certainly doing so for me. And I'd like to know, the temperature in Chicago right now. Are we wait and see mode? Are we, going to hype train this thing every time he, makes a connection with Keenan Allen in camp? Or what is this going to look like come end of August? What is this going to feel like as we enter into the season? Now, it's not necessarily a given that we'll see him right out the gates. The Bears haven't been able to sign Caleb or Rome. Odunze, for that matter. They need to get those deals done soon and make these guys solid and make sure they're in the building for day one. But once that is squared away and taken care of, and I have full faith that it will, with Poles and company, Caleb is going to take the field, and I think the scene in Lake Forest for Bears training camp is going to be unlike anything we've ever witnessed. This is the moment Chicago has been waiting for. They earned the moment through the losses, through the down years, through the quarterback carousels and the despunct. I know this fan base is going to not take it for granted. And they shouldn't. It should be a la the warm embrace the Bengals gave Burrow and the entire organization, and they sort of enjoyed the moment in that run to the Super Bowl. They really did. You remember that. They enjoyed every moment. They weren't too high. They weren't too low. We belong here. We're not being talked enough. They were doing their business, and all the fans were enjoying it and being present and supportive. The expectations for Caleb, they're as high as can be. I'm not trying to heap more onto him, but I do think in the situation that he's in, we're going to see one of the more special seasons out of a rookie quarterback that we have seen in the history of the NFL. There, I said it. There's a good chance we see him join this list, okay? This is a hallowed list. 5 rookie quarterbacks to ever throw for 4K yards in a season. That would also make him the first Bears quarterback of any age to do it, and maybe even push Andrew Luck for that top spot. So in case you're wondering, FanDuel Sportsbook, in case you want to have some fun over at the world leader here, let's see, FD Sportsbook set the line at just 3,450 and a half yards. By the way, if you want to have fun, I would. And I think he has an even better shot at cracking this list. Take a look at this. The most touchdown passes we've seen from a rookie. FanDuel has his line at 22 and a half right now. You get DJ, Keenan, Rome, get that guy signed. Cole Kmet, who we love, and I think will have a nice big role here. I think he'll crush that. And I know it doesn't matter if it doesn't translate to win Chicago. I know. But I think, he's a special talent. I think Ryan Poles did such a great job supporting him with talent that we will see the most successful rookie season we've seen. I said it. From a #1 overall pick. Hammer, quick button on that. Is that crazy? #1 rookie performance ever.
I don't think it is crazy because most of the guys that walk in as the number one overall pick are going to horrible teams in states of disrepair. And, you know, the Bears through that trade with the Panthers were able to get the number one pick, and they probably have the best roster of any team that's had the number one overall pick that we've seen in recent years. So no, I don't think it's crazy at all.
Will he have a better year than 4,100, 23 touchdowns and 5 interceptions? Better than Stroud?
I think he's got a good shot. I really do. I mean, with his talent level, as you said, and just with that situation.
Yes or no? Will Caleb Williams have a better year than Offensive Rookie of the Year, C.J. Stroud from 2023?
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes.
So he's runaway Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's a runaway Pro Bowler.
I think so.
I like it. All right. I like it, and I know our guest from the Bear will like it as well. We're going to take a short break here. Later in the show, we're going to have Giants linebacker Bobby Okereke and Cory Hendricks, as I said, from the hit show on Hulu, The Bear, and from FX, of course. But next, we're going to talk little Cowboys. RJ Ochoa always making me the wiser. We've got the Dolphins covered with Marcel Louis-Jacques as well. I could just say that all day long. Marcel Louis-Jacques. Ha ha ha, Hamilton. We're having footage issues, eh? You know what?
Yeah,
I know. Do you know what I really like?
Yeah, this is not
It's fine. You know what I really like? I like that I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. You know, we're working.
Things are really
looking
up. Looking up. I wasn't privy to that. Don't need to know about it. La 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 la. I love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what
I know that's the last thing you want to be hearing about right now. So try not to bother you.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about it. Better year. Yeah, it's C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud's pretty great.
Yeah.
I saw Justin Jefferson. He was with his whole family. They're so freaking cute. He's so well put. He was so put together. He was so everything was working. And remember, he was giggling so much when he came on our show, and I was like,
yeah,
what?
he couldn't stop laughing.
I was like, what's going on? And he was just the same. Just giggly, just a happy person. I asked him about Burrow, of course, and Jamar and all of that, and he's like, "That's Joe." I go, "Why is Joe talking so much now? Why is Joe doing the media tour? Why is Joe open it up?" And he said, "He's just learning. It's his time. It's his time." So we'll see.
I heard. Did you get to meet one of his teammates too?
Oh, I met Jordan Addison. Yeah, very quiet, very quiet. Asked him to come on the show. Hopefully he will. Big fan of him. Big opportunity for him. Very cool of him to come and support his teammate, I thought.
Yeah.
He was cool. He was very cool. Very soft-spoken, but really cool. B. Marsh was there, full B. Marsh experience, larger than life.
What did he give you crap about? I know there was something.
Joy Taylor was there. MJ Acosta was there. I loved seeing them. They're killing it. Nice. Love them. And I really want to say Claire Kittle's going to steal the show.
Oh, yeah?
Netflix receiver, I just have a feeling, and I've only seen the one episode, but the way that her presence in the episode and her presence last night, and she's a star. She's an absolute star and incredible. And, former athlete, just the support she shows and all of that, I think she's going to end up being the runaway star from the series. No offense to, Justin Jefferson.
It is. It got me saying, the 49ers players' wives are kind of killing it right now.
Kristen Juszczyk was there.
Across the board.
Kristen was there last night. Kyle was there last night. No Debo. I think Debo's not about the spotlight. As much as people want to say, if you think about does he talk? He really doesn't talk. He'll say 3 words and everybody latches onto them. So I think
it is true.
I think he just rides to his own melt. He just does his thing. That was a Reality Bites reference. Okay, 1990s. Welcome back to the Up and Adam Show. Big Show. Bobby Okereke is on the program. We're going to get some knowledge right now, guys. By the way, check out Netflix Receiver. It is streaming now. We'll be talking about it, of course. I think everybody's going to be talking about it, as there's not much to talk about going into training camp. So get on board. Go stream it on Netflix right now. A lot of lingering contract drama happening around the league. I thought now would be a good time to check in with a few of my friends who are dialed into all of it. Let's start with Blogging the Boys editor-in-chief, RJ Ochoa, reporting for duty. How have you been?
I'm doing well, Kate. It's great to be with you. Nice for the last final breath before everything gets crazy for a few months.
Yeah, why didn't CD do Netflix Receiver? Where was CD Lamb in all this,
I think the Cowboys probably have a quota for Netflix specials, and they hit it with their cheerleaders for this past season. So maybe CD can do. I don't know if they're going to do another receiver edition, but he's not lacking for any opportunities to be in front of a camera. Nobody with the team is.
That's fair. Where he is lacking is putting his pen to paper and signing a contract. What is going on? He's not answering questions. That's what he said about his contract status. I mean, I think he'd play out this year in a worst-case scenario of all of this, but do you get the sense he's going to be a Cowboy beyond 2024?
I do. So CD, just for the record, is coming off of literally the most impressive statistical season that any wide receiver has ever had in franchise history. And so in addition to just the general points of leverage that anybody in this position would have, he has a lot relative to the team specifically. He is somebody who the team adores. When they drafted him, it was sort of pressed upon him to wear number 88. He had said that night he wanted to wear number 10. And so that changed rather quickly. And I think that, the Cowboys seem content to go about this in a really inefficient manner, handle some of these contract extensions once they get to California for training camp, even if they could have gotten it done for much fewer dollars, much fewer salary cap space. But I just can't imagine a world where the Cowboys would let CeeDee Lamb walk. But he is eligible to be franchise tagged next offseason if matters ultimately do come to that.
And then there's Dak, right? So, RJ, you know all the things. Yesterday, I'm seeing this boot. And, everyone's freaking out over the holiday with this boot. And he's completely saying, no big deal. It's nothing to... I think he said he was just taking care of his body. The contract's a different story. We're officially 2 weeks away from training camp. You're giving me the lowdown on CD. What's the confidence level at Blogging the Boys that an extension is done by the time we get there for Dak?
By the time that training camp begins, I'd say 0. I would not be shocked at all to see nothing happen before then. You've talked about it obviously so far this morning, and we kind of joked about at the beginning. This is a lull. This is the kind of final doldrum of the NFL offseason. So there's no reason for the Cowboys to get this done. And again, this doesn't make sense, but the Cowboys like to do deals in Oxnard, whether it's because everyone is all together, it feels like summer camp, whatever the case may be. For what it's worth, Dak Prescott's birthday does generally coincide with training camp. It will this year. It's at the very end of the month when he'll turn 31 years old. And so, again, could they have, gotten it done for much fewer dollars and much fewer salary cap space? Totally. If they've been proactive here, they absolutely, I think, could have, done something different. But with regards to Dak specifically, at every turn here since 2019, since they've had the opportunity to take care of him, they have fumbled this. They have bungled it. They have gone about it incredibly inefficiently and made Dak a very wealthy person, and good for him. But it has been an exercise in mismanagement to the highest degree. There should be a class taught on this, on how to not handle quarterback contracts.
Now, I will remind you that last time you joined the Up and Adam show, you said that if a deal doesn't get done by the start of training camp, you don't think it will get done and he'll hit free agency.
I would amend that slightly and say, so the Cowboys, obviously hold training camp in California, but they do return to Frisco for the final moments of it. And that's really my kind of line in the sand. If they wrap up time in Oxnard with nothing done, because at that point, it really is the 11th hour of the training camp portion of things in the preseason, obviously. And that's when everyone's kind of buckling down for the regular season to begin. I can't envision personally this being something that, we all wake up on the Sunday of week 5 and all of a sudden Dak has an extension done with the Cowboys. And I think a lot of that is because Dak will be closer than ever. He will literally just have the regular season standing between him and true open market free agency, which, as you've talked about, obviously, is a little bit unprecedented in terms of somebody in their prime, somebody in their early 30s reaching without any, massive major question marks hovering over them. So if they leave California without this done, for not just Dak, but for CD as well, I'd say, then I don't envision them happening before next offseason. Now, is it possible that Dallas doesn't get a deal done with either one and before free agency next year get something done with Dak? Totally, anything is possible. But again, I think at that point, Dak would be so close to the end of the tunnel and be able to kind of pit different NFL teams against one another.
I feel like it's all questions. It's sort of been just this, crapping on the Cowboys. Draft, free agency, the Dak, the CD, the mishandling of epic proportions, mismanagement that you're talking about. Is hope important in Dallas? I've talked to players on the Cowboys, and they seem very different than the outside. We like who we have here. We don't need anybody else. I feel like the innards of the locker room are very different from what's going on the outside. Do you see any positivity here? if this team were to break the 29-year NFC Championship drought, it would be because of what?
Yeah, well, I think, your point is very fair and valid. I know when you had Osa Digizu on, he spoke really positively. And everyone's kind of been like that. I think a lot of players have laughed at, the discourse surrounding their team. And I think that a lot of that is confidence in one another. And I think, look, it's such a weird situation because they have had an incredibly poor offseason. But over the course of the last 3 years, only one team has won more regular season games than them, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. And believe me, I know and have heard and have made all of the jokes about that being just in the regular season, but they're an incredibly, when you think about teams that are on that list, it's the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals and the Philadelphia Eagles and the 49ers. And people talk about them a whole hell of a lot differently than they talk about the Cowboys. And a lot of that is for playoff success, obviously. But people look at, the Cowboys playoff win over the Buccaneers and say, well, you beat a below 500 Bucs team. That's great. Does anybody ever really talk about how the Eagles, who were an incredible team, beat a quarterbackless 49ers team in the NFC Championship game? Do we ding other playoff, wins or moments or whatever the case? So there is a little bit of heavy is the head going on with being the Cowboys. And I think fans are just frustrated by, I think they conceded this is a good team with a lot of potential, but it could have been so much better. You could have, hedged your bet. You could have been proactive instead of, just hoping that what you have is enough, because it wasn't over the course of the last few years.
Well said, RJ Ochoa with Blogging the Boys. We appreciate the updates, and the contract chaos continues not only in Dallas, but also in Miami, and that's where we go right now, bringing in Marcel Louis-Jacques, who works with ESPN. You're an amazing reporter, and this team's trying to negotiate with Tua. I don't quite know what's going on. I'd like it to get done sooner than later. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Kay. And you and me both. I would love to get this done as well, because I can't go out to dinner. I can't go hang out with friends. I can't hop on a plane for 2 hours without crippling anxiety that I'm going to miss something or I'm going to have to leave early. So, yeah, the sooner they get it done, the better for me as well.
It's so true. It's all about you, right? It's all about you and me. Like, let's get this over with and get it going. Okay, what are your thoughts on this? Because there's reports that the contract could be less than what Jared Goff and Trevor Lawrence just got, which is like, excuse me, the disrespect.
Well, you got to remember what Tua said the last time you spoke to him during mandatory minicamp, which was, and I quote, "The market is the market." We have a market in place for a reason. That's why teams can't just pay you whatever you want. There's a market in place for this exact reason. So, kind of decoding that, he wants his money. And it seems like he and his team at Athletes First, who are known for getting their guys paid, have kind of drawn this line in the sand to say, like, we want at or above market value, considering what we have done over the past couple of years. Forget the start to his career, those first 3 years. It was just muddled by injuries and instability and, kind of a circus act on the coaching staff, like a carousel on the coaching staff. Ever since Mike McDaniel got here, Tua is top 5 in passing yards, touchdowns, completion percentage, passer rating, yards. He has been a top tier quarterback when he has been introduced to a little continuity. So I think that he deserves to get paid. Where we're going to see the discrepancy between his contract and like Trevor's and Herbert's is that guaranteed money. The AAV is probably going to be there, that like 55-ish a year. I don't think that's going to be too hard to meet. It's that guaranteed money. Where's the gulf between his total guarantees and his full guarantees, where he's protected against injuries? Because while he did play those 18 games, he played those 18 games, but you can't forget, the hip injuries and the concussions and this and that.
I think it all hinges on the health-based clauses, and guaranteed money is hard to give with the history that he does have. So there's a lot to negotiate and a lot to figure out. But let's just get it done, guys. Let's just get it done. Another Dolphin looking for a deal, Tyreek Hill. Leads the league in receiving last season, a big part of that. We can talk about continuity, but Tyreek's a big part of that. He's currently the 4th highest paid receiver after Justin Jefferson, and Amon-Ra St. Brown just got paid. Do you think he and the organization are on the same page? Is there any frustration to be aware about, especially with him looking for more money after just getting paid a couple years ago?
No, I don't think there's any frustration. I think they're pretty much on the same page here. There's a couple different priorities in line right now, namely, Tua and Javon Holland, young core guys whose contracts are running out. But that doesn't mean Tyreek is not a priority. I think we asked him pretty much point blank, hey, do you feel like you should be a top 5 paid receiver for as long as you're in your prime? And he said, of course. And I don't think anybody should deny that. The Dolphins offense goes through Tyreek Hill. A friend of mine on this beat, Chris Perkins, he likes to say, this offense is about two things: Tyreek Hill and the threat of Tyreek Hill. So you pay him to keep him happy, considering what he's done over the past 2 years. What that money might look like. I don't think he's going to be setting any NFL records. I think they give him some sort of refresher, kind of like what they did with Xavier Howard a few years ago. That puts him more in line with the top paid receivers without making him outright the top guy like they did when they traded for him from the Chiefs.
I want you to tell me why this is the Dolphins' division to lose.
I mean, on paper, they're the most talented division, or the most talented team, right? They've got the second best quarterback, I think, behind Josh Allen. Until I see Aaron Rodgers, I am not pounding the table for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. The Jets they always just Jets somehow, one way or another. So I'm just kind of waiting for that to happen. But, Kay, I've been covering this division now for 5 years. I have to say, until I see Miami beat Buffalo in a game that matters, I can't say this is their division to lose. I've seen it time and time again where they should win. They're favored to win. They're this, they're that. They have the momentum. And there's just there's a mental block about beating the neighborhood bully that they have not gotten over yet. So until I see that happen, I cannot count the Bills out.
It's really great, a perfectly eloquently put point that you got to take out the big dog, even if the big dog doesn't have Stephon Diggs, and they look weaker than ever. I feel like in the Josh Allen tenure, but we'll see how it plays out. It's interesting. Like, are you sort of saying that Tua is going to bet on himself this year if they don't meet the market value? Is that just to get that right?
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be anything extreme. Like, he's not going to hold out or sit out of the season or anything crazy. I think he's too much of a team player to do that. Too much of a leader on this team to do that. And there's no like rush, right, for the Dolphins to get something done. For the kumbaya of the locker room, for the feng shui of the locker room. Yeah, you want to do this sooner rather than later. But he does still have that last year of his rookie deal. They can still franchise him 2 years. If it can drag out. I don't think it gets to that. I think something gets done before the regular season starts.
Hamilton is texting me saying, and we just popped him on screen. What did you want to say, Hamilton, about Tua? Is he around?
Yeah, I feel like he could go full 2012 Flacco here.
What do you think?
I mean, look, we got such a weird message from Mike McDaniel about, the first part of their offseason program. Like, sometimes he was there, sometimes he wasn't. There was a day he wasn't there to go play in Nick Saban's charity golf tournament. So he did. That was contract related. It's not that he just doesn't think he needed to be there. It was contract related. Yeah. He didn't participate in team drills during mandatory minicamp. Like, there obviously is a little bit of static there. There's a little bit of frustration and angst, as he put it. But I don't think it's going to get to a point where he bails on the team or he does anything to hurt them in the long run. That's just not really his personality.
It's not who he is. Tell me about the personality of Zach Schwartz. Can you give me a little something before you leave?
Oh, man. Zach Schwartz, I mean, you could not have made a better hire. Like, this is the actual.
What do I need to know?
Man.
Is he like comparing him to Tua? How would you characterize Zach?
I think Zach honestly would be terrified to hold out in fear of being traded or fired. You don't have to worry about Zach holding out. Zach will come up. He will pull up. He will do his job. He will ask to get paid. He'll whisper in. If you say no, he'll be like, okay, well, I'm going to go to work anyways. But I'm just kidding, Zach. I love you, man. You deserve every dollar you get. He's been one of my good friends since 2011, man. Like,
That's
it's crazy
awesome.
that we can say 15, 13, 14
Crazy.
years. Now we're just that old. But yeah, man, getting married later this month. Proud of him. Happy for him and Rachel. That's right. We cheer for that. We cheer for love here. Okay?
We cheer for love. Marcel Louis-Jacques, my new best friend, covering all things Dolphins for ESPN. Congrats on all the success. Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for making time, and please come back, okay?
Of course. Thanks
and
for
next time
having me
we'll have Zach out here to be able to defend himself.
Please, we have to.
Although you said nothing bad about him, it was just so lovely. We've got Bobby Okereke, who I love, a Giants linebacker, an absolute stud, a star, one of my guys. Oh, I'm sorry, you look so official. Where are we? Let's do this thing.
I'm at the facility. Just got the workouts in, training. Just love being in the Giants building.
Love. We'll be right back. Amazing. Oh, Hamilton. Let's do this. Okay. I'm excited. Yay! Welcome back to the show. Very excited about my next guest. A career season in his first year with the Giants. He just fits in New York. He's larger than life. He led the team with, I believe, 149 total tackles, Bobby. You played every single defensive snap last season. Bobby Okereke, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I mean, what is it about this Giants team that you're meshing with so bad?
There's a lot of prestige here, a lot of great history. We got a great front office. We're a young team. I was able to step in a leadership role, and I feel home here.
We're going to get into last night's episode of Hard Knocks, of course, in a minute. Like, I'm in LA driving down Sunset, and there are just huge billboards of Giants, Hard Knocks, everything going on. But not only did you lead the league, the team in tackles, you had career highs. What a year. Forced fumbles, sacks, tackles for loss, quarterback hits, passes defended. What is it like making an instant impact like that? Not just for the team, but in that crazy city.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Our fan base goes crazy. Social media, they're blowing me up. But like I said, it's a very prestigious organization, and it means a lot to bring pride to my teammates, my family, front office. So very excited. And like you said, Hard Knocks has been incredible so far.
What has it been like? Tell me about the Hard Knocks part of it all.
It's been cool. I had that Hard Knocks experience in Indianapolis, but Joe Shane and, Dave's are stars of the show. Really just kind of see the inner workings of all the guys upstairs and the conversations they have and the strategies. It's been a lot of fun.
I want to go back to last season, and if you could indulge me, take me to week 12, okay? You're at home against the Patriots. Isaiah Simmons gets pressure on Mac Jones. You get the pick and bring it back 55 yards. Go. Take me through this.
Boom. All right, catch the ball. Boom. Go back to my high school days. I'm about to cross the field. Boom. Back outside. Run to the back of my teammate. But 55 yards, we'll take it.
The turnover led to the only Giants touchdown of the entire game. Are you still mad that Mac Jones tripped you up at the end?
I got tripped up by a couple people at the end, but I got to do a better job navigating traffic next time. Pick six.
Bobby, that could have been your first career touchdown. Are we going to see that? And how early into 2024 will that happen?
It's coming soon. That's all I'll say. It's coming very soon.
How Hollywood are you? Okay, Hard Knocks coming soon to a theater stadium near you. Listen, the second episode of Hard Knocks, off-season with the New York Giants, it aired last night on HBO. It's streaming right now on Max. Everybody can go see it. We saw a tough conversation where your GM told Saquon that he should test the market. What is it like watching that?
It's interesting because I was in that position too. Indianapolis let me go test the market. I feel like same decision-making process. Didn't want to give me an offer that I would have felt was disrespectful. So yeah, it's tough. At the end of the day, this is business. This is how both people, GMs, owners, players feed our families. So we got to look at it from a financial perspective. But this game takes a lot of passion and heart. So it's hard to say guys are unjustified with their feelings. So I feel for both sides.
Yeah, does it sort of shift your perspective at all of Daboll in the front office? Like, does watching those conversations as a player sort of take you out of the feelings of being in it and make you sort of understand their role better? Does it shift anything with how you look at them?
100%. We all understand, it's cap space, and you can want all the guys you want on the team, but it's a puzzle piece, and you're trying to find value here and there. So, I got extreme trust and confidence in the guys upstairs. I felt a lot of confidence in them since I signed here, negotiations with them since I've been in the building. So, I'm very proud to be a Giant.
Are you going to have a little extra something for Saquon when he's coming up the middle next season now that he's wearing green?
That's my brother. I'll dab him up. He was an elite captain last year, one of the best football players, leaders I've been around, but iron sharpens iron. So he knows I'm bringing my best, and I know he'll bring his.
What are you going to miss most about him?
Just his leadership. He would come in times after games and, he'd pick it up and be like, defense, y'all doing great. Like, offense, we haven't done good enough, and I'm putting it on me. I'm gonna put the team on my back, and to watch him from the running back position do that, very special.
Love that. I cannot wait for those battles this year. I just can't wait for the season. One of the reasons the front office had to say bye to Saquon, business-wise, is because they gave this 4-year extension to Daniel Jones. You've been in New York now. Give me one thing that you've seen from Daniel. Not that there's only one thing, but the one thing that you would want to put out there that lets you know, that lets fans know that he is the quarterback of the future.
Yeah. I mean, from day one, first guy in, last guy out mentality. Obviously, smart guy, went to Duke, and he just got poise. I mean, he's got a hell of an arm. And, I mean, me and him are the same class, I believe. Year 6. It's go time. So we all know, we all feel the urgency, and I'm excited for him. His preparation, second to none, and, you know, he's going to have a great year. Can
you tell me, you know, when I ask you about Saquon, it's right away leadership. So tell me about the leadership of Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I mean, there's different leaders. Some guys are vocal leaders. Some guys lead by example. I feel like DJ's a lead by example guy, but, I mean, he knows the team's going to go as he goes. Our defense can be as good as we want to be. You know, skilled players can make as many plays as they want, but the reality of the NFL is that the quarterback leads. So, you know, he knows he's taking that responsibility to heart, and we're all excited to follow him.
I don't know that I've ever heard, and I'm not as plugged into the Giants scene, but I did have Daniel Jones on my show a lot last year. I don't know that I've ever really heard poise be used to describe him. I think that's important.
Yeah. I mean, he's faced a lot of adversity since he's been here. Obviously, the scrutiny from the New York fans is crazy. I experienced that this year. And injuries, he's dealt with a lot. But just to see his mentality, his demeanor, poise is what comes to mind.
Who's the vocal leader right now? Saquon's gone. Let's say he was the vocal leader. We got the quiet leaders. Who is the vocal leader now in that locker room?
It might be me. You know, I feel like I'm stepping into that role a little bit.
Let's go!
Stepping into that role a little bit for sure. We got great leaders on this team. Andrew Thomas, he's a mountain of a man. He leads by example. Dexter Lawrence, I mean, his play speaks for itself. And, you know, Graham Gano, one of the wisest guys, been here for a long time, had a lot of success in this league. So that's our leadership core. You know, we have guys who are growing. We're a young team, but we got to lead from the front.
I love that you added Brian Burns coming off the edge. You got some pedigree, yep. 2-time Pro Bowler, monster. You've seen him up close and personal. What do the Giants fans need to know about his game?
This guy's electric. This guy is a game changer, and I can't wait till he puts on the jersey for game 1 and gets to play because, you know, he's a prolific player.
Can we talk about your new defensive coordinator a little bit? Shane Bowen coming over from the Titans. How does his style compare to last season or even when you were with the Colts?
I mean, it's almost about as 180 of a flip as it can be. You know, going from Wink, I loved that system, attacking, blitzing all the time, to Shane, you know, very methodical, probably one of the most cerebral defensive coordinators I've ever been around. Just the way he sees the game, the way he's going to call it, the way he coaches it, the attention to detail. I think we're going to dominate this year, and it's going to be led by him.
I love this. One thing from last night's episode of Hard Knocks, too, Brian Dable guarantees he can run a sub-7-second 40-yard dash. Huh?
I mean, if you've seen Dave's lately, he lost some weight. Maybe it's because after that conversation, he was like, he's been timing his 40 yards in the backyard. I don't know what, but he looks good. I got him under 7 for sure.
Can you guys give him shit?
For sure.
Really?
I mean, he gives people shit. He gives people shit. He like if you watch Hard Knocks, that mentality he was talking about, Malik, like that's what he likes. He wants a guy who's going to talk shit. Dave's walks around talking shit to people all day, and he understands you got to be competitive in this league.
But he's not like scary, like you would, you know. I can't like you'll go for it, like you'll take a shot at him, like.
I mean, you better be on your shit if you're going to take a shot at it. He's coming back. For sure.
Wait, I got to go back to this. Did you say Graham Gano is a leader on this team? I don't know that I've ever heard a kicker described as a leader.
Graham Gano has been in this league a long, long time. He's been a captain for a while. He's been had a lot of success.
Yeah.
And he's a process guy. I mean, you go to his locker, just the pictures he has up, the organization of his locker, his process every day from a training room, recovery. I think any young guy in our locker room can walk in and, you know, follow the example of Graham.
I love this. Bobby, in addition to racking up tackles, you are also an entrepreneur. I'd like to talk about, it's called Presidential Travel Services in Miami. Yeah. How did you get into this game, this business? And I want to know who's the most famous customer so far.
So I feel like I've kind of been entrepreneurial minded. Always thought about finance, business stuff. Off seasons, I've vacationed in Miami a couple times, rented boats, cars, clubs, the whole thing. So really saw the opportunity. Met my business partner, who's a broker in the space, Sarah Singley. Shout out her. And yeah, we developed the company, bought some cars out there, renting it out. Probably our most famous client to date, maybe Jordan Woods. Carl Anthony Towns, Jordan Woods booked us for a little bit.
I love that.
Yeah. So you got any friends in Miami, shoot them my way.
Listen, when I go to Miami, I'm going to hit you up for that. If you have the time, of course, and you're this big star and you're in New York. Let's say I'm in New York next week and I need a recommendation of where I'm going to eat. One restaurant. Where are you making me go?
Sugarfish.
Oh, okay. I love a sugarfish. That's amazing.
Sugarfish, very good. Sushi of Gari is very good too. Top 2 sushi places.
Okay.
In New York.
Love it. Gotta get. What, the sushi in Indiana wasn't that great?
It was solid. You know, we're just a little closer to water out here in New York.
It happens.
Indy was solid to me.
Amazing. You're killing it. I feel like you are on the way up and a leader, you and Graham Gano, taking these Giants where they need to go. Everybody watch Hard Knocks off-season with the New York Giants. It's every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on HBO, streaming on Max, and I will hit you up when I'm in New York, and then I'll hit you up for a car service when I'm in Miami.
Much love, Kay.
See ya. Hopefully I'll see you at training camp. Bye. Bobby Okereke, Mr. Tackler Phenomenon. Saquon, look out, because he's going to bring his best, I think, in those 2 bouts. We will be back. Do you like the Bears? Do you watch the Bear? We've got Cory Hendricks on the program. Do I know anything about wine? No. But does he know everything about the Bear and the Bears? Yes. We'll talk about it with my Chicago friend after this. Yes, thank you for that. Ham, should we have gotten into some Stanford stuff?
Maybe. Yeah, just everything right now. I was thinking too, like everything's so focused on that college football video game coming out.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if, you know, he was in that generation that didn't get to see himself in the game.
I think I've heard it all now. Chris Collinsworth explaining AI to me. And Bobby Okereke telling me that the kicker on the team is the leader of the team.
Yeah, that was something. I mean,
you're a Giants fan. What do you make of that?
On one hand, it's like the kicker is one of the leaders. Like maybe we need some more. But on another hand, it's, you know, you're getting leadership out of the position where you normally don't get it. That's a good thing. That's a cool thing.
I think the question is, do you need a vocal leader? Who was the other quarterback that we were just talking about this about?
Yeah.
It was like a big headline.
Oh, Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Like, do you need him to be loud? Kuechly says no.
Yeah, because if you have other guys on the team that are loud, I think, you know, that makes up for that. I think it depends on each individual team. If it's a team that's lacking leadership, then yeah, you need that vocal guy.
But if you have a Dable, do you need a vocal leader? Because he's such a maniac. It's interesting. Like, who's the vocal leader on the Broncos? Do you need one? Because you have Sean Payton being an absolute psychopath, right?
Yeah, I think you do still need some of it coming from the players themselves, you know, and I think that's what's going to be interesting because it sounds like from everything he was saying about Saquon, he was that guy for the offense. So without him, who's going to be that guy in the offense? The defense obviously has some of those guys, the special teams, but
I think we're sleeping on what Saquon's going to do for Philly.
Yeah,
a little bit, and I think y'all Giants fans are going to be crying all year long.
Oh, it's going to be rough. Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough to see.
Okay,
I mean, the Giants just named him one of the top 100
players. You deserve to suffer. You took out Brady twice, and you've had your freaking heyday in your stupid ticker tape parades. Now Chicago is on the ups, baby.
Chicago's done.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, let's do this. I'm excited. Who do we have tomorrow? I saw Ira last night. Who did we book Ed from? Who did we book? Oh, we have like an NBA legend on the show tomorrow, potentially. Who did we book Ed through? Okay, I need to know. I want to know because the guy whoever booked came up to me last night at that event. Interesting. All right, big show here. Really big show tomorrow as well. Love this first week back from training camp starting in a couple of weeks, but we were on hiatus. We're back and we're in the swing of things. And it is the year of Chicago. That's what I'm saying. The Bears killing it. The Bears will kill it. That's the kind of energy that I'm bringing into this conversation. And my next guest is an award-winning actor, a director, a writer. He plays Gary Sweeps Woods on the hit FX show The Bear, which you can see on Hulu. Is this the #1 streaming show right now, Cory Hendricks?
That's what they're saying. They're saying this is the #1 show right now. You know, we have the #1 slot. Yeah.
What does that feel like?
It's surreal. I don't think it'll really settle in until like maybe the number one position is gone. But right now, while you're in it, it's like, really? Us? Okay.
Well, I want to
Yeah.
say congratulations. It just won multiple Emmys, as we all saw.
Yeah.
This season has racked up over I can't even understand what that means. It's racked up over 1 billion streaming minutes last week, according to
Yeah, I saw that.
Variety. What do you think fans are connecting to so much this season?
I think this season, for season 3, everyone's kind of rushing back to see what the hoopla is about. Like, season 1 took off. Everyone loved season 2. So people who, weren't already following the show, they're kind of tuning in now to see, like, what's the hype about. And then, of course, the fans are locked in to see is season 3 going to be as good as season 1 and season 2. And then everyone that's in the restaurant industry, they're still, like, following along because it's something that feels authentic to them. So it's like, it's just multiple tiers to, like, the fandom.
Did you know a lot about the restaurant industry before joining this cast? I know you've done a lot of different projects, but I feel like I'm watching and I love learning. I love learning about the behind the scenes and the teamwork that it takes. What have you learned about the restaurant industry and food service through this process?
I knew surface stuff because when I was in high school, my high school, when I started, it was a vocational high school. So we all had majors. I was a food service major.
Oh.
So I've kind of always known about like the surface things about the food service industry. But this show has just gave me so much more information, so much more detailed information about how a restaurant, runs, how you get it off the ground, just so much information. It's crazy.
So did you use that in your audition? I was a food service major in high school.
I didn't because, like, for the audition, I'm thinking about just going to audition for a role. I didn't know so much about the show. I didn't know so much about it. And then it was like, I think I may have known it was about, like, an Italian beef restaurant in River North. It wasn't so, like, like gastronomy. It was just like a little small thing. So I'm like, okay, a Chicago restaurant, Italian beef. Like, that's us. That's what we do. We make Italian beefs. Okay, cool.
Where do you go get your Italian beef in Chicago?
Honestly, I step out right outside of the city. I go to Cicero. It's a place called Scatchels.
What's it called?
It's near Scatchels. It's near Cicero and Cermak.
Okay,
Right,
Scatchels.
right near that intersection.
Wow,
Scatchels,
shout out
yeah, it's
Scatchels. That's gonna be a good bite there. There was this place that I grew up in Chicago. There was this place on the northwest side called Jay's, and they had 2 locations, and I loved it. And like I will always go and get an Italian beef from Jay's, and then of course Al's is famous, so we know all of that.
Al's definitely.
Yeah, but Al's is like too popular, right? Like,
Yeah, it's like a famous spot now. Yeah.
Is there anything about the fan reaction to this season that's surprising you?
I feel like the reactions this season has been all over the place. People feel like this season is really artsy. So they're like, it's like so much more artsier than the past seasons. I think people are really shocked at a lot of the silly banter between the Fact brothers. There's like a lot of comedy there, so people really weren't expecting so much of that. So I think it's just like it's a shocking season. It's a little different than what people expected from the previous 2.
I love it. I love that. I feel like Chicago is a character in the show, like a main character, which I love. And you were born and raised on the West Side, and you've been involved in quite a few productions in Chicago. But you said that this show feels like Chicago. What do you mean by that?
It does. A lot of sometimes shows they come here and they'll film downtown. They'll film in the Loop. But with this, it's just you can tell the creator of the show is a Chicago guy, and he spent time here. It's just you can see it with the shots of the train, or people walking outside, or getting the restaurants involved, like the Chicago restaurants, things like that, or just like the silly stuff that would happen in season 1 outside of, say, the restaurant. It's like it's very Chicago stuff that would happen, and so I think that's the difference. The scenes at the lake in the morning, like just opening up like the city to the world.
It is artsy and it's really authentic, and I love to see that that's playing an even bigger role in season 3. Now let's get into Chicago a little bit. Where'd you go to high school?
Westinghouse.
Westinghouse. Okay, got it. I went to Whitney Young.
Oh, okay, definitely.
Loved that. Loved Chicago. Haven't lived there in a long time, but obviously, like, it's where I'm from. But let's get into the sports scene a little bit. You grew up playing basketball, I know. So I have to ask you, how do you feel about the post-DeMar DeRozan era of the Bulls?
I hate that he's leaving. Like, he was so great for us, especially down the stretch in the 4th quarter. So to see him leave, it's like, man, we couldn't put anything else together, any other pieces around him or with him and make something happen. So I hate to see it.
Yeah,
I really do.
Traded to the Kings. Don't love that. He led the team in points last year. I don't know what are they going to do? What's up with Chicago sports?
Yeah, it's crazy with that. So I don't know. I'm still root for him, but yeah, it's not looking too good for us.
I feel like now you can just put all your energy, my friend, into the Bears.
Well, yeah, that's, it's going to take all of the energy because the way the Bears do us, it's going to take all of the energy. Like, it's like, Lord.
What are you saying? Wait. From the Bear to the Bears. We got number 1 pick, Caleb Williams. He's showing up at Cubs games. He's at Sky games. He seems to be all over the city. How are you feeling about your Chicago Bears?
It's a fresh start, so I feel good about that. It's a fresh start. I feel good about that. We got Caleb, the fresh blood. But again, this is how we felt about 2 or 3 years ago, with good old Justin. So it's like we're back in the same space. So I'm rooting for him, though. I think he'll do well. I think he'll do well. We just can't we can't put too much on his shoulders and just expect him to come out this first season and just everything be completely different for us in the first season or two. You got to give people a chance.
The Bear happened and it was a hit season 1.
Yeah, but you can't plan miracles. They happen. You can't plan miracles. And that's the thing. I tell people, when I auditioned for the Bear, and then once I saw the cast and we were on set, I saw we had a good team. The way we were filming, I thought it was good. Jeremy's leading the ship. He's amazing. He already has a big locked-in following because of Shameless and stuff like that. So I knew people would like it. I thought we would have a cult-like following. I had no idea the show would take off the way it did and the whole world would go crazy, and it's the way it is now. So it's really a miracle to me.
When did you realize that it was going to be what it is?
So I think when we got renewed for a second season, that happened kind of soon. So okay, people like it. It's a good thing. And then when the nominations started coming out, I was like, oh, because it's so much TV nowadays. It's a lot of TV, a lot of shows, but everyone doesn't get nominated. That doesn't happen. Whether you win, that's one thing, but even be recognized on that level. So I was like, wow, I'm on a show that's getting this many nominations. That was crazy. And then once we started winning stuff, and then once season 2 came out, and it was just crazy. I was like, oh, okay, we have something here. This is crazy.
Well, then explain the magic. We're trying to figure out, I work in the NFL, and I look at these teams, and I'm like, they've got it. They've got it. They get hot at the end. They'll make, what is it about? And you've worked on so many projects, especially in Chicago, the Chi, Chicago PD, Chicago Med. What is it about the Bear and the team that sets it apart?
Well, yeah, so cinema is definitely it's team art. It's not just one person, it's not just one thing, but it really starts with Christopher Storer, the creator of the show. Chris, and I don't want to use this word too lightly, but Chris is a genius. When we're on set sometimes and we can be shooting things and it comes out a certain way, and I'll go to him when you were writing this, did you see it that way? And he's like, yeah, that's how I saw it. So I think him putting the actors together, the entire team, the cinematographer, the other producers, John and Carlo, he putting the entire team together, knowing who can facilitate what, and it works. When we're on set, we move fast. It's very efficient. Everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone's professional. Everyone's confident. Everyone supports one another. And I think that's what it is. I think Chris put together the right team. He knew who can do what, how they can do it, and it's and we just execute when we're there.
Yeah, there are a lot of comparisons to what an NFL team is trying to accomplish. We'll see what the Bears can do. I had Matt Forte come on my show a couple weeks ago and say that they're going to sweep the Packers this year.
I'm with him.
Okay.
I'm with him. It's going to happen. I'm with him. I'm always down for sweeping the Packers.
How can't you be? Okay, we're going to wrap this up with a little bit of a game. It's called non-negotiables. Of course, a huge theme in season 3 of The Bear. I'm going to say a statement. You tell me if it's a non-negotiable. So if you agree with it, it's non-negotiable. It's Chicago style. Michael Jordan will always be the one and only GOAT. Is that non-negotiable?
Non-negotiable, yeah.
No LeBron.
Michael Jordan, non-negotiable.
No Chicagoan cares about the bean. Is that non-negotiable?
That's not non-negotiable. We care about the bean. It's just not a big deal to us. That's not non-negotiable.
But we own it. The Bears will make the playoffs. Is that a non-negotiable?
Non-negotiable. We will make the playoffs, definitely.
Whitney Young High School is the best high school in Chicago. Is that a non-negotiable?
That's not a non-negotiable at all. That's not.
Shout out to your high school. Jay Cutler is the best quarterback in Bears history. Is that a non-negotiable?
No, not really.
It's true, I feel like. I feel like there's not a better one. Okay, laying out on the concrete at the beach that is Lake Michigan, is that okay? Is that normal? Is that a non-negotiable?
Laying out on the concrete?
At the beach.
Near the beach?
Yeah.
That's a non-negotiable because, I mean, people do it all the time.
All the
you
time.
You have to step over them, step around them. Yeah, that's a non-negotiable.
No ketchup on hot dogs. Non-negotiable?
Non-negotiable. Non-negotiable.
Chicago stuffed pizza, the best of all kinds of pizzas.
No. I like thin tavern-style pizza.
Me too. I'm with you. Okay, that is it for us. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
And just repping Chicago the way that you do, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Thanks, Kay.
Appreciate it. Nice to see you. And go
Later.
Bears. He's with it. Let's sweep those Packers and get it done. Cory Hendricks from the Bear, and we'll be back tomorrow. Peace.
Go Westinghouse.
Yeah.